The Vision comics. This is a 12-issue series by Tom King. I heard very interesting things about it. The library only had volume 1 for the longest time, and they only recently grabbed not season 2, but volume 2. So if you're unfamiliar, Vision had a mini-series where he creates a wife and 2 children, and then they live in the suburbs. Which sounds like an intriguing premise, but it's about like AI trying to, be human and things like that. I don't know anything about Tom King, so I kind of went into this series blind, but it's a really interesting story. So I'm not going to get into too big of the deep of the plot, but basically Vision has a wife named Virginia, and he's created twin teenagers, Viv and Vin. So he sends them to high school where they have some hijinks, and he's trying to, just create a life with his family. It's full of, knickknacks and artifacts and things like this. Tom King has a really interesting style, very wordy. Like here, I'm just going to open up to a random page. Like, there's barely any panels that don't have either dialogue or narration over top. There's like literally not a single panel in this comic book that doesn't have that. Even if it's a big spread, there's still something going on. He's very wordy in the sense that there'll always be narration in the back. Sometimes a little intrusive, they never lets the panels breathe, but overall the story's still effective for what it can do. And honestly, it's pretty heartbreaking. It kind of reminded me of the Matt Fraction version of Hawkeye. Like for example, Hawkeye, in that series, it's about Hawkeye doing things when he's not in the Avengers. So for Vision, they try to do the same thing. There's like a scene where he's fighting a giant space creature with the Avengers, and his wife's trying to get him on the phone because something happened at school, and he's like, "I'll deal with it later. I'm still an Avenger. I have to fight with the Avengers." But then like it's mostly a domestic thriller, basically. However, sometimes the series does telegraph itself a little bit too much, and it tells you things like tries to skip forward by interest. It's slow to begin. And then it tries to like keep you interested by saying like dark things will happen later and things like that. And it tries to be more ominous because the first like 6 issues don't really have much going on really. There's a couple things going on here and there, but they can only go so far until they get to like a more intriguing premise. And then it basically leads off with like there's this really awkward sequence where the police get involved. And they are giving Vision basically an interrogation. And while he's doing the interrogation, they're listing off the flashbacks of all the different times that Vision and the Avengers have saved the world. And it's supposed to be like this cool juxtaposition, like, I'm a hero. Why are you questioning me? I've stopped these threats. And then it just doesn't gel well together, honestly. It's so in your face sometimes. I know what they're trying to do. Sometimes some of these juxtapositions don't really work. There's another scene where Vision finds something and he has to do something, but while he's trying to do it, another character's having a narration or something. Sometimes they just don't gel well together, and it's trying to lead off to the next big thing. And then, of course, they got the second volume, a little better than a beast. This one, let's see, starts off with a flashback with the Scarlet, and they're talking. See, you gotta be careful. There's some WandaVision spoilers in the second volume. So if you haven't watched WandaVision or know about the House of M storyline, then it does mention something. I don't really care. But yeah, the first like 2 volumes are basically flashback stuff, and then we get Vision and is trying to deal with his uncle Victor Mancha shows up to try to get a beat on what's going on with Vision and his family. And of course things go darker. And then we get the finale. So the Vision comics are pretty solid. I enjoyed it. I read it all in a day. Does have some consequences, so I like that. The artwork is okay too. The artwork's going for a very kind of like pastel sort of like drawings. I don't want to show too much. Maybe I'll link some stuff later. But yeah, Walta does the artwork. It's lots of line work for the faces and things like that. The Vision people have the big eyes and things like that. So I mean, Tom King also did some Batman comics. I don't know if I'll check those out, but The Vision was okay. It's just like definitely sucked for someone having to wait a year to finish the story, but overall it's pretty interesting. Definitely felt a little bit like an outsider reading it though, because I'm not really into Marvel comics. Like I've read some of, like I read some comics here and there, like Old Man Logan, early Spider-Man and X-Men, but this is still in sort of continuity with after the events of what happened in WandaVision in the comics. And I don't know if like some of the characters that were in here are still in stuff, because this series came out a while ago. Actually, it came out in like 2015 or 2016 or something. So overall, those are my thoughts of Vision from 2015, and I thought it was okay.